Today's program is brought to you by PennyStockProfessor.com. For all the best OTCBB stock picks, sign up at PennyStockProfessor.com. I'm Brandon Vincent, and I want to thank you for joining us for another TBC Daily News Update. As the tidal wave of shoppers subsides after the holiday weekend, many eyes are turning to retail sales results for indications of the U.S. consumer's health and, by association, the strength of our economy. I can sum up the results in just one word: value. Consumers seem to remember the concept as they shop for markdown products and purchase from discount online retailers such as Overstock.com. The $343 million market cap company reported strong Cyber Monday sales that were 10% greater than its record-breaking Black Friday results. But value is a concept that occasionally fails the sidelines in the stock market, when investor expectations of the future exceed even the brightest earnings forecast. And we're seeing a departure from value in retail stocks. However, after reviewing preliminary Black Friday weekend sales results, which showed an 8% decrease in per-shopper spending, it is now more clear than ever that many stock valuations exceed holiday shopping outlooks. There's that word again, value. But while Blue Nile may offer value to affluent shoppers with a trailing P/E of 81, the stock sure doesn't offer any value to investors. Blue Nile was founded in 1999 and has grown into the largest online retailer of certified diamonds and fine jewelry in what is an extremely fragmented market, largely dominated by small mom-and-pop shops, but the company feels a definite need and market-based demand on a simple idea. Diamonds can be simple to understand, and choosing an engagement ring need not be complicated. The company's success, ailing consumer anxiety and educating buyers, has won accolades from the Time, the Wall Street Journal, and the Forbes. Over its 10-year history, it oftentimes shares price of strong performers and exceeds the true value of the company. And this is certainly the case with Blue Nile. Blue Nile stock has increased 168% over the last 52 weeks. That performance tops the S&P 500's 34% rally and the S&P Retail Index's 69% gain. But this extreme outperformance is not where the story ends with this high flyer. Blue Nile has grown revenues at just an average annual rate of 7.6% from 2006 through 2009 and increased earnings per share at only 8.3%. Hardly that explosive growth that the stock's current P/E would suggest. Clearly, forward guidance should validate the share price, right? Wrong. Consensus analyst estimates for 2010 revenue and EPS growth are 15% and 29% respectively. That puts 2010 EPS at $1.12, and the stock is trading at forward P/E of 53. That's still extremely rich, no matter what kind of jewels the company sells. And even though affluent shoppers may increasingly opt for a $20,000 piece of jewelry from Blue Nile versus the same thing on Fifth Avenue for $30,000, the company's slim 3.8% profit margin will require much more than 15% revenue to justify the stock prices.
Comcast Corporation struck a deal to buy a majority stake in NBC Universal from General Electric Company, creating a media superpower that would control not just how television shows and movies are made, but how they are delivered to the home. The deal had been discussed for months and brought to the light deep division over the future of the media business, with some lauding Comcast Chief Executive Officer Brian Roberts as a visionary and others calling it the most full-heartedly acquisition since AOL bought Time Warner in 2001. In a world where the internet has disrupted traditional media, Comcast wants NBC Universal so it can deliver programming to audiences however they may want it, whether through TV sets, personal computers, or mobile devices. Not only is Comcast the largest U.S. cable distributor, it also is the leading internet service provider to homes. Critics of the deal, including some of Comcast's own shareholders, suggest there is too little overlap between the businesses to draw out meaningful savings, and that competition regulators are bound to burden it with restrictions.
Former Arkansas Governor Mike Huckabee said he was aware of Maurice Clemens' long and violent criminal history when he commuted his 108-year prison sentence, but he could not have foreseen the deadly consequences of his actions. Police fatally shot Clemens, age 37, in Seattle, Washington after a two-day manhunt that began after he allegedly killed 4 officers at a coffee shop. Huckabee, a prospective 2012 GOP presidential candidate, has come under fire because as Arkansas governor in 2000, he signed a clemency order for Clemens. The move made Clemens eligible for parole, which was granted. The ex-governor said he was aware of the long string of crimes that had put Clemens behind bars, but based his decision on the defendant's age at the time, which was only 16. Clemens served 11 years of his sentence before being released. Clemens moved from Washington to Arkansas as a youngster. There he had several run-ins with the law and eventually received a hefty prison sentence for a joust of charges including robberies, burglaries, thefts, and bringing a gun to school. During a pretrial hearing, he hid a piece of metal in his sock. Court documents said before the start of another hearing, he grabbed a padlock off of his holding cell and threw it at a court bailiff. He missed, and the lock hit his mother, who had come to bring him clothes to trial. Clemens continued to lash out violently behind the prison fences in Pine Bluff, Arkansas. During his 2008 presidential bid, Huckabee was criticized for granting clemency to another inmate, convicted rapist Wayne Dumond. Dumond later was convicted of raping and murdering in Missouri before accepting responsibility. Huckabee first blamed Clemens' alleged actions Sunday on failings in both Arkansas and Washington's legal systems. But many point the finger at Huckabee. One survey showed Huckabee issued more clemencies from 1996 to 2004 than the governors of all surrounding states, including Texas.
Exactly 8 years after Enron Corporation filed for bankruptcy protection, a federal judge has dismissed a lawsuit against banks they accused of helping the energy company commit fraud. Wednesday's dismissal by U.S. District Judge Melinda Harmon in Houston Federal Court came after Enron investors had already obtained $7.2 billion of settlements, a record for U.S. class action litigation according to Cornerstone Research. Lawyers for the lead plaintiff, the Regents of the University of California, concluded there were no chance to obtain meaningful further recovery in light of court rulings. Top 10 trading stocks for December are Market Vectors Gold Miners, GDX, ProShares Ultra Basic Materials, UYM, iShares Comics Gold Trust, IAU, Spider Gold Trust, GLD, PowerShares DB Precious Metals, DBP, iShares Silver Trust, SLV, ETFS Silver Trust, SIVR, PowerShares DB Silver, DBS, Market Vector Steel, SLX, and ProShares Ultra Industrials, UXI.
In today's green news, I really can't explain it any better than the press release did. Capstone Turbine Corporation is pushing traditional hybrid electric vehicle barriers with the introduction of CMT 380, a high-performance hybrid electric supercar powered by traditional batteries and an untraditional ultra-low-emission range-extending microturbine, which is essentially like having an ultra-clean and quiet jet engine under the hood. The supercar, which is in the design and test phase, was developed in partnership with Electric Art's chief creator, director Richard Hilleman. Capstone's C330 microturbine that runs on diesel or biodiesel, which is housed inside a sleek Factory 5 racing GTM body. The Capstone C30 microturbine is so elusive, it does not require any exhaust after treatment to meet stringent clean air requirements of the California Air Resources Board, or EPA 2010. The CMT 380 features lithium polymer battery cells that can be charged at home or at a public recharging station. While driving, the sports car can operate on 100% battery power in zero emissions mode for a range of up to 80 miles. When the batteries reach a predetermined state of discharge, the Capstone C30 microturbine quietly fires up and recharges the batteries on the fly to extend the driving range up to 500 miles. The diesel-fueled C30 microturbine requires less maintenance than traditional combustion engines and produces ultra-low exhaust emissions. I'm Brandon Vincent, and on behalf of all of us at TBC Today, I want to thank you once again for tuning in to another TBC Daily News Update.